there was a clothing designer named Dion Scott, and he used to do all the clothes for like the Kings of Comedy and just all these different people. And I went over there when I first got to LA to get a couple outfits made. Clearly, I shouldn't have. I remember I went over there. This is a funny story. I go over to Dion Scott. He makes these custom-made clothes. And this one, everybody used to wear the like two pieces. Like the pants were real baggy in the late 90s. And you'd wear, if you didn't want to wear a suit, the top would match the bottoms. And he never tucked it in. It was usually untucked. That was a style back then. And so I just remember I go into Dion Scott, and the guy sold me on like something like 5 outfits for some enormous amount of money, like $8,000, which is, to me, I can't even fathom spending that much on 5 outfits. He sold me that this is the look you got to do, Gary. You on your way. You just got on BET and da-da-da. And I remember I wrote him a check, and I go, all right, but don't cash this until payday. And so I went back, and I'm having buyer's remorse immediately. I didn't have it like that at all. If he would have cashed that check, I don't think I would have had any more money in the bank. Man, dude hustled me. And then my buddy goes, I get back to San Diego like that same day, and I'm telling my buddy, man, I think I messed up. I bought all these outfits, man. Da-da-da. He goes, man, you got to cancel that check. You got to cancel that check, Gary. You don't need that kind of outfits, not right now. And I was like, yeah. And then he goes, you're funny, dude. Ain't nobody care what you wearing. You funny. So I had to call the guy back and be like, hey, man, I canceled the check. I ain't getting these outfits. And then he did end up selling me like one outfit on the low. I think it cost me $500 or something. But that was because I was getting ready. That's what it was. I was getting ready to do BET. So he made me an outfit for my hour special. That's what I was doing. I got an hour special on BET's Comic View. So he made me an outfit for my hour special and gave me a deal. I just said, dude, I ain't got it like that. And he was almost like a car salesman. Like I was like, dang, I really almost spent $8,000 on 5 outfits and only had like $8,000. Didn't have $8,000 in the bank. I was waiting until payday and a couple gigs came through. But dodged a bullet there. But that whole story was to tell you one day I was in Dion Scott's clothing boutique store, and Arnell was in there. And what I remember about that is one time I walked in and they had like Cedric, the entertainer's assistant, walked in, and they had like a dry cleaning bag of Dion Scott on the outside, and Cedric's assistant or somebody from the Steve Harvey Show was picking up some suits for Cedric. And I just remember seeing the price tag on like the belt and everything going, oh my God, it's so much money. I would have been literally wearing those outfits with like a belt from Kohl's or Target. So glad I didn't get it. But Arnell Simpson was in there one day, and I just remember, gosh, she was so fine. And I was like, when I first got to LA, I didn't know a lot of these women. I didn't know a lot of these women were on TV. I didn't know who their dads were or their brothers and stuff. I would just try to get people's numbers, and I wasn't like a sex fiend or anything like that. If I saw a pretty girl, I had no problem talking to her. And so I just remember I was talking to her and I didn't get her number, and then I remember like, man, I hope I see her again. And then next time I saw her, somebody said, you know who that is? I go, no, I saw her at a clothing store. They're like, that's OJ's daughter. I go, shut up. And so I didn't try to get her number after that. But I saw her at Dion Scott's boutique, and then we talked for a little bit, nothing. And this is like right when some people had cell phones, some people didn't. And then I saw her again at some party. It seems like when I first got to LA, the party scene was so dope, but there wasn't cell phones. There wasn't like the internet like that. So you could actually party, and then you might not see people again. But it seems like you would see a lot of the same people again if you're in the right circles. And I was hitting all the A-list Black Hollywood parties back then. So I was the one white guy showing up at all the parties. Yeah, so I remember I was about to go up and try to get the digits. And then somebody goes, you know that's OJ's daughter, right? I said, okay, I'm going to fall back. God, those early 90 days, the party scene was just dope. Side note, we'll get away from OJ for a minute. I remember I met Destiny's Child this is when there was 4 of them. This one, it was Beyonce, Kelly, LaToya Luckett, and the other one, was it Farrah? The other one? I just remember they were all 4 in the lobby of It's not the Sofitel. It's right by the Beverly Center. It's always changing his name. It used to have an Asian themed name, but I remember I saw them in the lobby, and I just started talking to them. I saw 4 girls. I started talking to them, and I remember Wyclef was there, and he had the what was the paper that everybody had? Not Variety. It was Billboard. It used to be the Billboard magazine. It had a paper thing, but it wasn't like the paper like USA Today or local paper was. It was almost kind of silky almost. And I remember he was reading the Billboard, and he was showing them how their song was rising. No, 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 no. Then you say, yeah, 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 yeah. It was like going up on the charts. And he was showing them, and I remember thinking, oh, that's the dude from the Fugees. And then I had no idea who this group was. And I'm talking to him, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, where are you guys from? Is it Houston? I said, I'm going to Houston. And I was going there for like a one-nighter. And I got one of their numbers, and I had to write it down on a piece of paper. And I was like, I'll call you when I come to Houston. And they said, all right, come to a show. It was either, I want to say it was Kelly who I got the number, and whether that number was real or not. But it wasn't like I was really trying to holler. Maybe I was a little bit. I don't know. But I wasn't really going in. I was more like, oh, no, you're a singing group. I'm a comedian. We're all entertainers. Let me get your digits. Never called it. I don't think the gig ever happened in Houston. But, yeah, that was funny. I was so naive to things back then. I was just like, cute girls. I got a number. Maybe I'll call them. Maybe we'll hang out. I think of some of the people I ran into early. I remember one time we was at the Jerry's Deli was a spot in L.A. when clubs would close in the late 90s. And I had some friends in town. Was it friends? Anyway, I had some people in town that had never been to L.A. I remember they were all like, they just want to see celebs. I said, listen, it's all you got to do. I remember it was Grammy weekend. And I said, we ain't got to go to no parties. We'll go to Jerry's Deli about 1:30 in the morning. And about 2:15, that thing's going to be popping with celebs coming in. And it was no joke. I'm talking celeb after celeb after celeb was coming in. And I just remember it was Bono? Was it Bono or Sting? One of them. I saw them both at different times at Jerry's Deli sitting there. But this particular night was one or the other. I can't remember which one. But they were sitting there eating. And Jerry's Deli was kind of like a lot of black people went there after the clubs closed because everything closed at 2 in L.A. And this is what I remember. It was either Bono or Sting. One of them was sitting in a booth with their people, and I didn't see security around them. I didn't see nothing. But then AJ from 106 and Park walked in, and he had like this big bodyguard with him. And AJ from 106 and Park, he knows how to work a room. So he's over there shaking hands. What's up, man? Real friendly, you know. But he had that bodyguard with him at all times. And I remember telling my friend, I was like, what's wrong with this picture? He goes, well, I go, AJ from 106 and Park has this big-ass bodyguard. And, like, Bono's sitting there. And nobody's paying attention. And nobody's bothering him. And I don't see a security guard with him. I'm sure he had somebody nearby. I just didn't see it. That was one I remember so vividly. And I just wish, was it Sting or Bono? Because I know I saw them both at Jerry's Deli. This was like the 90, either it was between 97 and 2000 that this was happening. I don't remember which one. But that night, I don't know which one it was. But it was one of them. And then same thing with that hotel that I stayed at. What the heck was it called? It was, if anybody been to LA, you know what I'm talking about. It's not the Sofitel, but it's right by the Beverly Center, and it had an Asian thing back then, whatever it was. But so many celebs would stay there. I saw Mike Tyson sitting there one day, all by himself, and then he was. I think that's when he was shooting the Cannabis video, when Cannabis had the beef with LL Cool J, because I saw Cannabis there, and I was like, all of a sudden, couple weeks later, I saw the video come out. I'm assuming that's when they were shooting that video, but I don't know. But I remember I see both of them at that hotel, and not even together, but on the same day I saw them. So in my brain, I put 2 and 2 together, and I put that's where Mike Tyson stayed when he shot that cannabis video. I could be wrong, but I did see them both on that day at that hotel. So God, I saw Nicolas Cage at that hotel one time. And I don't know why I was over there, because everybody came in town, they would stay there, and then you'd meet them there in the lobby and stuff. So, yeah. So that was an interesting story.